Hello, good morning students. Please subscribe the channel, drop a like, share and comment. This is dictation number 55 and 56 of model speed dictation volume number 1 on the speed of 100 words per minute. Start. Secondly, sir, investment allowance has been granted. Companies have been exempted from the surcharge on income tax provided they make a certain deposit. Thirdly, wealth tax has been reduced. And even in the case of wealth tax, reduction of tax in the lower slabs is smaller than reduction in the higher slabs. I do not want to quote figures. Now, in defense of these steps, the finance minister, while presenting the budget, argued that high tax rates led to tax evasion, smuggling, black money operation, etc. And he said that with reduction in the rates of tax, it is hoped that there would be better tax compliance. The finance minister cited the example of 1973-74 when the income tax rates were reduced and he said it led to better results because the tax collection improved. Now, sir, I want to quote here the study made by the Political and Economic Weekly. It shows that this claim made by the finance minister is totally unfounded. So we made concessions which meant a revenue loss of rupees 150 crores. In other words, the government made a gift of rupees 150 crores to the monopoly houses in the country. This year, again, the rates have been slashed down from 77% to 66%. And according to the calculations made by the Times of India, this would mean a further gift of rupees 120 crores this year. So rupees 270 crores have been gifted away to the monopoly houses in the name of increasing production. The truth of the matter is that they are not increasing production. Rather, they are engaged in restricting production so as to raise prices. Similarly, sir, the amount which has been gifted away to companies and corporations which has been estimated by the statesman owned by the Tatas will be nearly rupees 100 crores as a result of this budget. Now, what is the attitude towards the common people? Our tax system has become more and more regressive. As a matter of fact, out of 7,000 crores of total tax revenue, 4,000 crores are raised from excise duties and 1,500 crores are raised from customs. So the customs and excise duties together account for more than 2/3 of the tax revenue. The share of the income tax which used to be 14% previously has now come down to 12%. Sir, we talk of socialism. The government also talks of socialism. I must thank the finance minister that he has not mentioned the word socialism at all. He does not believe in socialism, or rather, he is opposed to socialism. He does not talk of it. He talks of concessions to the monopolists. That is good. At least he is straightforward. But the government talks of socialism. Our constitution lays down that our objective is to build socialism. The 5-year plans lay down that our objective is to reduce disparities. As a matter of fact, when the income tax rates were first reduced in 1973-74, it was argued that the wealth tax rates were being increased so as to maintain the parity in incomes and so as not to lead to greater disparities in incomes. This year, the finance minister has given up even that plea. He has reduced both the personal income tax as well as the wealth tax. The concessions in indirect taxes also point in the same direction. Concessions have been given to ordinary people on some of the items like clothing, some of the soaps, some of the batteries, and some cheap cigarettes. Concessions have now been announced on tractor, tire, and tubes and batteries. These are all welcome, but the bulk of the concessions are being given to the affluent section. For example, concessions are given on motor cars, refrigerators, raw materials used in producing plastic goods, nylon and terraline commodities, etc., which are consumed mainly by the affluent sections. What was the need for these concessions? On the one hand, the government talks of restricting conspicuous consumption. On the other hand, it goes on fattening the industries which cater to the needs of these wealthy sections of the population. When there is a crisis, concessions are allowed in taxes so that prices may come down a little and the profitability of these industries may increase. I would plead that this is a misdirection of national resources which are so scarce and which should have been directed towards building up of basic industries, agriculture and essential consumer industries. On the contrary, these resources are directed towards building up of industries meant for the wealthy sections of the population. So, sir, the budget and the finance bill, as they have been presented to the House, seek to erode the gains made by emergency. The government talks so much about the gains of emergency and the discipline that has been infused by the emergency. But the gains are bound to be eroded and are being eroded under the impact of the new budget and the finance bill. So, when the government talks of discipline and it impounds the salaries and wages of workers and employees, it does not think of imposing discipline upon itself, upon its own spending. And this would have led to a rise in prices, but for certain fortuitous circumstances like an increase in agricultural production, an increase in the state sector production, a rise in tax revenues, and greater income from foreign debts. But this year, sir, the trends are very disturbing. The government goes on talking of fall in prices, but the latest trend is just the opposite. Prices have again started rising. prices have started rising not on their own but because of certain actions of the government. For example, according to a comment in the Economic Times, money supply has increased by another rupees 500 crores in the first 2 weeks of April 1975.